It is fascinating to wonder how we think, feel, or behave in the ways we do. Although extensive studies have been carried out to ascertain how humans think, feel, behave, and react to things, but despite the studies that understand the psychology of the human mind, there's still a lot that largely remains a mystery. Nonetheless, a whole lot has been learned about how the mind works, and in this video, we're going to take a look at some of the fascinating psychological behaviors of humans. Without wasting time, let's get into it. Number 1. Reminiscence bump. If you are one to be around older people, then you're gonna notice how they talk about their early 20s always. The reminiscence bump is a phenomenon where people tend to refer to their adolescence and early adulthood memories more than the ones in the present. They tend to remember and give a vivid picture of how they were in their early ages rather than in the present. You see, humans have a preference for recalling the past experience in the adolescence and early adulthood stages of their lives, and this may primarily be as a result of emotional intensity that they had in these early experiences, and probably the choices, events, changes that occurred around that time, ranging from schooling, career, and marriage to even the birth of a child, are all new experiences that make the past more memorable. Number 2. Daydreamers are more creative. Daydreaming is often viewed as a bad and negative trait because people tend to feel daydreamers are not serious about the present situation or even taking the current position they are faced with. But this may not be entirely true, because daydreaming may indicate creativity and intelligence. According to research, intelligence and creativity are closely linked with high levels of mind wandering. Also, daydreamers have not only proven to score higher on IQ tests, but their brains have been proven to appear more efficient. Yes, there are differences in the ways individuals think and the capacity to which they can carry. That is why daydreamers can wander around while performing easy tasks, and they can get in and out of discussion or tasks appropriately and seamlessly hop back in without missing vital details or procedures. Number 3. Dopamine makes you addicted to seeking information. There's a high chance that you found yourself scrolling through social media for hours and hours on end. Dopamine is often regarded as a pleasure chemical because it causes you to find pleasure, satisfaction, and enjoyment in activities like eating, drugs, sex, and so on. But dopamine also has the effect to make you become curious and want to seek information. So when you're scrolling through social media, your dopamine loop becomes activated, and it will go on to make you glued to your social media feed and make you want to scroll for more information. The annoying part is that you are almost never going to be satisfied with the amount of information that's available, and you will most likely keep scrolling until you are interrupted by something else. Number 4. We are addicted to faces. Humans are social beings, and we want to communicate our feelings through social expressions. In fact, we are hardwired in such a way that we can scan the whole world for facial cues around us. Due to evolution, it's become so glaring that our brains immediately and subconsciously react to anything that may resemble a face. This is why we can judge or read a person's emotion or current state by simply observing their face. We could judge a person to be upset when they are frowning and a person to be likely happy when they are smiling or laughing without having to know them or be acquainted with them. Number 5. Blaming people rather than the situation. Humans tend to put the blame on people or someone when something undesirable happens. For instance, if you got late to a meeting or an appointment or date, you're most likely to blame the driver rather than blaming the construction site or traffic that may have caused your lateness on the way. Number 6. Craving the familiar when emotionally unstable. Do you know when you are feeling scared or emotionally unstable, you prefer to surround yourself with things that you're familiar with? After a heated argument or a terrible day at work, you are likely to buy a particular brand of drinks or junk that you are so used to instead of trying out a new brand. That's because there is an increase in the level of vulnerability when we are scared or sad, and as such, our minds tend to look for things that we are most familiar with to then latch onto. Number 7. You know how to do things you haven't done before. This is possibly because your brain can create an ideal picture of how something works or how a situation may be. It's usually referred to as the mental model. So if someone told you they did something that you haven't done before, your mind can create a scenario of what happened or how to go about it. This concept comes into play when we find ourselves with tools that we haven't used before. Our mind automatically makes up some assumptions on how to use them. Number 8. You have a maximum social group size. The human brain can only handle and entertain a certain number of relationships. In truth, it's not possible to maintain close relationships with hundreds and thousands of friends on Facebook in reality. According to psychology theory, humans can only handle between 50 and 150 close bonds. This does not mean that you cannot make a lot of acquaintances, but that is all they ever will be. Number 9. Words can manipulate perception. Our perception can be determined by the words used to describe a situation. For example, if a car accident was described to you as a contact, you would naturally naturally not have a bad image of the accident, even if it was as bad as described. On the other side, if an accident was described as a smash, then your brain would automatically picture it to be so bad, it might actually be worse than it is. Although these facts in this video are quite fascinating and reveal so much about human nature, it's important to bear in mind that most of them were discovered after research has been done with small groups of random people. Which psychology fact did you find the most fascinating? Do you know any other psychological facts about humans that are not on this list? Let us know down below and give us a like.